Okie dokie, we should be live. We should be live. Just a quick little boxing stream, nothing too crazy, nothing too serious. Saturday evening here in the UK. Pretty dark, pretty gloomy. You guys know how it is in this country. Pretty fucking depressing, but nevertheless. We'll talk some boxing, we'll see where it goes. Obviously, we've got a fight this weekend, Gary Russell versus Mark Magsayo. Interesting fight. I think Gary Russell is far more talented, far more naturally gifted, but, you know, Gary Russell's been a guy who's been inactive for quite some time. Struggled to make the weight as well. Mark Magsayo's a big lump. He can punch. He's aggressive. So it's one of those fights. Gary Russell should win, but Mark Magsayo is definitely dangerous. He's definitely dangerous. So that's a good fight. That's definitely a good fight. We got Jay's Boxing Universe in the house. Big up to Jay's Boxing Universe. Salute. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Brandon Lee. Big up to Brandon Lee. I'll watch them tomorrow. I'm not going to stay up, bro. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to stay up. I might have an early night tonight, I'll be honest. Big up to Angel Espinoza. Big up to you, man. Big up to you. Official Scorecard Boxing Science. My favorite Serbian. Big up to Official. Man, when I can, bro. When I can. Shit's just, you know, it's a little bit crazy right now, life. But, yeah, I mean, I hope so, man. I hope so. At some point in time. JTL, big up to JTL. Felipe Percha in the house. Big up to Felipe. It's possible, bro. It's possible. Like I was saying, Gary's not been the most active. Struggled to make weight. Apparently, he's got an injury. And, you know, Mark Magsayo's a much bigger dude. He hits hard. So you never know. In terms of skill for skill, I think Gary is quite some way above Mark Magsayo, but it only takes one. It only takes one. So it's a good fight. It's a good fight. You know? I wish, MMA. I wish, man. I wish, bro. But no, I work full time, man. One day, bro. One day. I don't think so, Elijah. I think Keith Thurman, if Keith Thurman has anything left, he should win that fight quite decisively, to be honest. But what it is a good fight to see where Keith Thurman is at. Because let's be honest, if he struggles in that fight, he's not a factor anymore. He's not. I don't rate Mario Barrios that highly, to be honest. He's okay, but no top welterweight should be struggling with Mario Barrios. I don't care what anybody says. Just my opinion. Yeah, it's a good card, man. Brandon Moreno versus Figueiredo 2. Or 3. Is that a third? No, that might be a third fight. That's a good fight. And obviously the main event, Francis Ngannou versus Cyril Gane. Great fight. I was picking Cyril Gane all the way through, but now we got close to it. I'm going with Ngannou early knockout. Yes, great fight. He's fighting Anayan, who beat him first time around. It's a 12-rounder. First fight was a 10-rounder. I think Matthias, will stop him late on, like rounds 10, 11, 12, something like that. But it's going to be a good fight. Big up to Tony Boswell for the contribution. Much respect to Blue Collar Sports and the chat. Stopped in to show support and hit the like button, working and listening. Big up to yourself, Tony, man. Big up to yourself. And I know the feeling, man, on the grind. I know the feeling. Yeah, no doubt. Tony Boswell, he supports everybody, man. Big up to Tony. Marianne G, big up. BG London in the house. Nice to see you on this fine Saturday evening. Nice to see you. Not yet, bro. I've heard mixed things about it, but I've not seen it yet. I've heard mixed things, though. But to be honest, after Scream 1, none of those films were exactly, like, great. You know? I enjoyed the first one, but after that, not so much. Great, bro. Lovely. Lovely. Sausages, egg, bacon, hash browns, all that good stuff. Yeah. Big up to Nordic Warrior in the house. Big up to Nordic. I mean, listen, man, it should have happened years and years and years ago. And for it to happen now is a bit of a slap in the face. It would have been a great fight. Ultimately, now it's a cash out. Neither guy has any other options. I personally won't buy it, but I will watch it. And I've got a funny feeling Amir Khan's going to win. I think he's going to jump on Kell Brook and stop him early. I'm going to go with a a bit of a different prediction. I'm going to go Amir Khan early. I know Khan's got no chin, but I think Kell's punch resistance is completely gone. And if Khan could land a few nice combos early on, I wouldn't be surprised to see Kell Brook get completely overwhelmed, to be honest. It might be a good fight. You never know. You never know. Felipe's got Khan stopping Brook, but either guy could get chinned at this point. I agree, man. That fight could go any way whatsoever. It could be a shit fight. It could be a good fight because both guys are so shot and so chinny. It's Car Crash TV. Nah, bro, I'm not going to go and watch that. No, I won't pay for it. Honestly, bro, E-Machines, just can't be bothered, mate. If I'm being honest, just can't be bothered. Just not my thing. I'm going to try and keep it boxing, man. I mean, as in like predictions, post-fights and things of that nature. Things I'm genuinely interested in. I mean, there was a stage where I covered that sort of TMZ side of boxing, and honestly, I just did it for the sake of it. I never really enjoyed making those sort of videos. So unless I'm actually interested in it, I'm not going to cover it, mate, to be honest. I'm not going to cover it. I'll never watch the new Scream. The first one is a classic, and it did not need to be a franchise. I agree, Nordic. But I think you can say that with most good horror movies. They overdo it. They overdo it. Big up to Brandon. Salute to Brandon. Yeah, they released the first Scream in cinema last year. We went to see it. Great movie. Yeah, the opening to the original Scream is awesome. Awesome. Love that opening. And obviously the reveal of the killer or killers. I won't spoil it if you've not seen it. Yeah, I like Scream as well. When it comes to Halloween, my go-tos are Scream, the original Halloween, one of the cheesy Friday the 13th movies, something like that, you know? I'm not one of these guys who likes these super fucking convoluted kind of possession movies. I like a good old-fashioned fucking slasher. That's what I like. Honestly, Canelo probably wins, even if he doesn't win. Honestly, I'll go Canelo. Yeah, good luck with it, Brandon. Good luck with it. Let me know how it goes, and I'll try and shout you out as well, because that's interesting. People need to hear that. Khan stops Brook as Brook is dead at the weight. Yeah, that exactly, bro. That's what's making me think Khan's going to win. It's at 149. Which Kell's going to struggle with, and it's going to have a rehydration clause. And that favours Khan, as we know. I know what you're saying, Nordic. On the day, listen, if I'm not doing anything, on the day, I'll watch it. I won't buy it, absolutely not, but I will watch it. I'm not going to lie. I will watch it. Yeah, I don't like Ray Flores. To be honest with you, Jay's Boxing Universe, I don't like him. Listen, man, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Furman versus Ennis. I think at this point in time, Tony, guys like Sean Porter, well, Sean Porter's gone now, he's retired, but guys like Furman, Danny Garcia, these guys need to be sent out to pastures new. They need to be taken out by the young guys. We need fresh blood in the welterweight division, and I'd be all for that fight, Ennis versus Furman. I think it makes a lot of sense. But yeah. But no, he's still fighting Barrios. From what I understand, the Barrios fight is an eliminator, but it's not a final eliminator, basically. But yeah, that fight is still going ahead. As for Terence Crawford in that situation, who knows? Who knows how this legal situation is going to affect his career? I think right now, while this is ongoing, I don't think anybody really wants to touch Terence Crawford right now. It could do his career a lot of harm if it doesn't go his way. Exactly, bro. I'm just not interested anymore. Like, there was a time when I made those videos, but every single time I made those videos, I never enjoyed recording it. I did it for the sake of it, and I'm not gonna do that anymore on this channel. I'm gonna do videos that I want to do. So, like, for example, I really enjoyed the Liam Williams Eubank prediction, and even the Khan Brook prediction. You know, oh, you're lucky, bro. That's a hell of a fight to go to. That's one of the best fights of the year. But I really don't know, man. See, a lot of people felt Gonzalez won that second fight. I felt it was close at the time, and I've only watched it once. I think I had it a draw, but I need to watch that second fight back because usually I think my scorecards are spot on, but a lot of people I respect had it a lot different. So I need to go back and watch that second fight. But I think honestly, right now, you'd probably say Gonzalez. Yeah, exactly. E-machines. It's just like, I don't know, man. There's certain things I'll talk about in regards to like the drama in boxing and politics, but I've got to really fancy it, you know? Big up to King Carr. Big up to King Carr. Not sure, Marianne G. Not sure. I'll watch it the next day. I'll find a copy on fucking, I don't know, Daily Motion or something. Honestly, BG London at this point in time, I think I'd rather Khan win. I know that could be controversial, but again, I've got not resentment, that's the wrong word. But with Kell Brook, I just see that guy as such a waste of talent. He wasted his career chasing Khan around looking for a fight, and he never made his own legacy. And to me, that's a shame because I honestly felt he was one of the most talented fighters we've produced in a long time. But his career was never moved correctly, and that was partly down to himself, you know, not living the life. And honestly, man, I kind of want to see Khan win, just because of a banter. But I don't really care in all seriousness who wins that. No, Roy Jones would beat Canelo, in my opinion. I agree, man. I like a good old fashioned fucking slasher movie, man. Like, chuck on one of those cheesy Friday the 13th movies. I love it. I love it. Apparently Estrada's got COVID, right? I'm assuming that's what it is. I'm pretty sure I read that. I'd say Matthias late stoppage. I think he'll avenge that defeat. And I quite like that. First time around when he lost to Anayan or Anayan, however you say his name. Obviously, he was coming off that win over Dadashev where he killed him. So I don't really think he was at the races that night, to be honest, when he lost that fight. I don't think he was at the races. It was quite soon after the Dadashev fight. So honestly, I do think he'll get it right this time around, and I appreciate that he's going to avenge that defeat, or trying to at least. That's what you want to see. And he's got a good fucking style as well. But it's going to be a good fight, man. An iron can fight. Exactly, Nordic. Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah, I think one of those heavyweights is fighting Felipe. What's his name? Zarkozy is his name, I think. I don't really rate him, to be honest. Big 6'9" southpaw. Exactly, mini taps. Yeah, Kell Brook had a lot of ability, man. There's no doubt about it. No doubt in my mind. He had a lot of ability. But, you know, poor career management, ill discipline. Just never really, he never really made the most of his talents. Great fight, Brandon. It's gonna deliver when you get those two guys in the ring. They're honest fighters, honest competitors, don't duck anybody. That's what you want to see, man. And two highly skilled fighters. Roman Gonzalez, all-time great in the lower weight classes, and Estrada Hall of Famer. So put those two guys together, given their styles, it's always going to be a good fight. Like Estrada always reminds me of Juan Manuel Marquez in regards to his style. He can do a bit of everything, but he's a very good counterpuncher. Excellent in the exchanges. Yeah, he's a clown. Felipe, I agree. He's a clown. Exactly, yeah. That's another thing. His father's not training him anymore in regards to Gary Russell. Yeah, deaf in his family, missed weight, has to shave a beard. Exactly, man. So, it could be an upset. It could be an upset. Could be an upset. Oh, he looks very good, Mr. Alvo. Jesse Bam Rodriguez, yeah. The top rank, I think he's with top rank. Flyweight, I believe. Yeah, he looks very good. Hard puncher as well for that weight class. He looks extremely good. He looks extremely good. That's a good shout, Nordic. Yeah, we need to watch a fight on a live again. And yeah, exactly. We can find some controversial fights to score. I agree, Nordic. We should do a Sven Otke fight. That's what we should do. But I'm down for that, though, at some point. I do plan eventually on having, like, open panels again, kind of thing, just to try and spice this up. Not from Britain, but back in 2008, was Ricky Hatton at the time considered iconic to the levels of Lennox Lewis? No, I wouldn't go that far, but he was just a fan favorite, Ricky Hatton. He was viewed as a good fighter and world class at his best, but he's not on the level of a Joe Calzaghe or Lennox Lewis, or even a Carl Froch, I would say. Just my opinion. And I think, he had his fanboys, though. So it depends on who you ask. Yeah, Roy Jones. Yeah, I mean, apparently what's happened there, Yoka wanted the fight, and Billy Nelson and Martin Bacoli are saying, no, you've got a contract with us. You have to fight us, kind of thing. I don't think that's some elaborate plan by Tony Yoka. I think Yoka was wanting that step up, but I think, it is what it is, unfortunately. Exactly, bro. It was garbage, bro. Absolute garbage, man. I'm glad you agree. I thought it was trash. I big up to G-Man, by the way. Big up to G-Man for the contribution. Much appreciated. Salute to G-Man. He's smashing it on the boxing side, man. He's smashing it. His channel's doing really well. So check out G-Man Boxing. Down the line, articulate. Good dude as well, man. Good dude as well. Big up to G-Man every single time. Much appreciated. Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly, Nordic. But I enjoy doing them. And it even makes the fight a bit more entertaining as well, knowing you've picked a certain guy. So you're kind of rooting for him to win. I don't know. I enjoy doing it. I really do. Like I like your retrospective videos of past fighters as well. That sort of thing. I watched your video on Vladimir Klitschko recently. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing as well. Great fight. Jamel Charlo's always got a puncher's chance. He did hurt Castano in the first fight, but he can't afford to let Castano stay on his chest for so long because he will get outworked. Castano's a much better inside fighter with much better output. And when he's on the inside, Castano defends himself quite nicely, uses angles, can sort of slip and slide with punches. I think Charlo has to knock him out. But it is in Texas, so he could get a robbery. I'm going to say Castano on points, but I'm not. Don't hold me to it. I might change my mind. Good fight though. Exactly, bro. Yeah, he ruined his own career. Should have focused on winning titles and not obsessing over Khan. Exactly. And not only that as well, outside the ring, he put weight on, done some, we've all heard of the rumours about Kell Brook, just never lived the life. Yeah, exactly, man. I would even pick Conor Benn to beat Brook and Khan at this point. I'm not as high on Conor Benn as a lot of people are, but I think Conor beats those guys. Yeah, I agree, Nordic. I agree. After that Golovkin fight, he should have gone to 154, I think, in hindsight. But to be honest, he should have never really fought Golovkin. He should have tried to get that. He was supposed to fight Jesse Vargas, and they couldn't agree on money. That would have been a unification fight at the time at welterweight. It's hard to say, bro. It's hard to say. Estrada just wants more time to prepare. Must have got the orange juice out. Yeah, man. You never know. You never know. But he's not. He's not scared or anything. Estrada's shown a willingness to fight good guys. It's probably genuine, to be honest. It's probably genuine. Yeah, Kell Brook's a weirdo, man. That story's not going to end well. That story's not going to end well. I guarantee you. Did you see Sergey Kovalev is suing Golden Boy Promotions after the Canelo fight? They were supposed to pay him 2.5 million from his next fight. I've not heard that, but he was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight Melakuziev, right? And then he failed a PED test, which I always found quite convenient. It makes you wonder whether he was, I don't know, because I presumed that basically voided that the fights Golden Boy owed him, if that makes sense. So I don't know, man. That situation's a bit weird. But yeah, he's fighting soon, Kovalev. He's coming back. He's fighting Fan Long Meng. It's not actually a bad fight. It's not actually a bad fight. Fan Long Meng's not a bad fighter, but if Kovalev has anything left, he should win comfortably. Yeah, Paranormal Activity was all right. No. I liked the first Saw movie, and I liked the first three Saw movies. I enjoyed. After that, though, I kind of lost track. Yeah, Zarkozy. Yeah, I've seen him fight a few times. He's okay, but he's nothing special. I think Kell Brook has a little bit of sugar in his tank. Yeah, Edehan, get me the Khan fight. I agree. He's definitely suspect. I don't mind Saw, man. I liked the first few, like I say, but yeah, honestly, I don't think Yoka's playing games there, because he was saying a few months ago he's not happy how slowly his career's gone, and he wanted to step up. I do believe him, because even before that he was going to fight Bakole, which was a good fight. Then that fight got pushed back due to I think it was COVID, and then he got the IBF call him about Hergovich, which he accepted. But then Team Bakole basically said, "No, you're fighting us. You got a contract." So I've shredded these guys for ducking, but I don't think Yoka ducked this time. To be fair, okay, light flyweight, yeah. You mean Bam Rodriguez, yeah. I like a cheap slasher movie. I like it. Yeah, I see that. I do see that. Although I think Chocolatito's a little different to Alexis Arguello. Arguello to me was more of a boxer puncher kind of thing. But I get you. I get you. Would have been great though. Yeah, Pacquiao Marquez. The third Marquez fight, I think, is the one. Because me personally, I don't get the controversy about the first two fights. I felt Pacquiao won that first fight. He actually got robbed in that first fight because one of the judges didn't he didn't mark the three knockdowns in the first round. I think he marked two down on his scorecard. And if he actually done what he was supposed to do, Pacquiao would have won that fight. I felt Pacquiao won the second fight. The third fight, it's been years since I've seen it. I think I've only seen it once, and I thought Marquez won that third fight. But I would need to watch that back. Yeah, exactly. Ricky Hatton he wasn't a great fighter. He wasn't like a true elite fighter, but he was a very good fighter. You know, he was a very good fighter. Honestly, if I had to put him on a level with somebody right now in a similar weight class, I would say Jose Ramirez level. That's the sort of fighter he was, in my opinion. That sort of level. I don't expect them to Wizard Sleeve. There's far too much. First and foremost, it's two fighters. Then at the same time, regardless of money, you then have to promise them the next fight. Dillian White wants a title shot, and Joshua wants that rematch. So regardless, both guys want the winner of a potential Fury Usyk fight. So it's not feasible to do a step aside for both guys. I agree, King Car. Yeah, he was the WBU champion. WBU. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about the Green Inferno, BG London, but I've still never seen it. Still never seen it. That's like Cannibal Holocaust type movie. Yeah, I enjoy doing them, man. And I was speaking to Unrivaled yesterday actually, and we was talking about like boxing content on YouTube. And I was saying that to me the best sort of content is like predictions or actually fucking talking about boxing because now it just seems like people are talking about their feelings, promoters, fanboying. A lot of these guys are fucking cheerleaders, let's be honest. Whether it be for a promoter or a certain narrative. It's not really about boxing. Boxing is just a vehicle to get clicks and fucking push their own agenda. That's how I feel about a lot of channels, to be honest. That's how I feel about a lot of channels, but I don't watch them. But the whole YouTube boxing scene's gone down the drain, in my opinion. It's gone down the drain. Del, I'm thinking of getting around to doing YouTube videos this year. What's your advice? I already hate the sound of my own voice. I hate the sound of my voice as well, bro. It's one of those things you just get used to when you record. You listen to a few things back. You just get used to it, to be honest. But honestly, the only advice I would give you, if you're thinking of doing it, just do it. Do it as soon as possible, and cover the topic or content in the way which is natural to you. Don't try and copy anybody. Don't try to base yourself off somebody else. Just cover the topic in the way that's natural to you and is suitable to you, kind of thing. That's the only advice I can give you. But start it as quickly as possible, I would say. Vitaly versus Vladimir, kind of annoying how they wouldn't fight each other, but at the same time, who would win? Vladimir had technique, but Vitaly had a different ability. Don't know how to call it. I think Vladimir was definitely the better boxer, technically, and I think he was the harder puncher as well. Vitaly was viewed as the warrior, the tougher brother. Now, I'm not sure whether I agree with that. I think that's a narrative that's been pushed for a long time. I get in regards to chin. Vitaly absolutely had a much better chin, but having a good chin or a bad chin is not. It's not a reflection of toughness. To me, toughness is like mental. It's what you can come back from. It's if you keep getting up. And Vladimir always got up. He always got up. His career was done when he got knocked out by Brewster. His own brother said he should retire, but he came back and was a very successful heavyweight champion. That is toughness. Whether you like it or not, Vitaly quit with what, 3 rounds to go? I know it was a bad injury, but other fighters have got through it. So to say Vladimir was not as tough, that's never sat right with me. I think that's a complete myth that Vitaly was tougher than Vladimir. I think that's a complete myth. Vladimir was at times he never had great confidence in his chin, and you could tell that in his style. But when shit hit the fan, the guy always picked himself back up, and that's the mark of toughness, in my opinion. How you deal with adversity and how you come back from it. And Vladimir did that. So I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna go Vladimir. Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko. A UK perspective, Kell Brook, for me, biggest waste of talent. I said this on Twitter. I think Gary Russell Jr. is America's biggest waste of talent in the last 10 years. I think Gary Russell had it all. Hand speed, athleticism, decent power, amateur background, exciting style when he puts his shots together. Gary Russell had it all, but he never had that desire to be a great fighter, in my opinion. He was content fighting once a year, picking up his paycheck, and that's it. Because I think Gary would have beaten Leo Santa Cruz. I think he would have beaten Kyle Frampton. I think he would have beaten Josh Warrington. I think he would have beaten most of these guys in and around his weight. But there you go. Yeah, that would have been a war, bro. That would have been a fucking war. Can you imagine Mayorga fucking trying to troll Roberto Duran, putting his hands down, pointing at his chin? Can you imagine? That'd have been a great fight. That would have been a great fight. It looks like it's going to happen. It looks like it's going to happen. It's not a bad fight. It's not a bad fight. Yeah, Estrada's a G. Kovalev suing that he never got his full dive check. De La Hoya claims that he doesn't owe Kovalev 2.5 million because he popped dirty. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Recognize it's convenient that he did pop when he did. It's convenient. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. It would have been a good fight though, as G-Man said, because Kovalev is definitely washed, but he is indeed Wizard Sleeve. He is indeed. I said this as well on my Kovalev video. To me, Kovalev, listen, he had a very good career, but to me, when I first saw Sergey Kovalev, he was fighting the likes of Lionel Thompson. This was before Nathan Cleverly, and I was so high on that guy. Excellent boxer puncher who could counter, aggressive, one of the most varied, spiteful jabs I've seen. Tremendous balance, tremendous distance control. Kovalev was a tremendous boxer in his prime. With exceptional talent, but to me, he should have done more. He should have done more. And I know he had a couple of setbacks, but still, I wouldn't be surprised, Joe Mama. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, he's promoted by Tekken. I thought he was top rank, but he looks very good, Joe. He looks very good. Yeah, fuck these guys, Wizard Sleeve. These four queens. I'm telling you now, yeah? Everyone's talking about Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Tank Davis. People need to be watching out for William Zepeda coming up. He looks very good. Southpaw, 5'9" lightweight, pressure style, great body puncher, power in both hands. I think he looks very good. I think he looks very good. I think he might be Golden Boy's best lightweight right now. I think he'd beat Ryan Garcia. I think he knocks him out. And I think he can beat Devin Haney. Honestly, I think Zepeda's going to give anybody a hard fight right now at lightweight. He's physically imposing. I definitely felt he won the first two. The third fight I've watched once, and at the time, I think I've watched it once, and I felt Marquez won at the time. Maybe I was looped in by the commentary, but I would have to see that one back. See, that would be a perfect fight to go back and rescore on a panel. That'd be perfect. Oh yeah, no doubt MMA. He is one dimensional, but I just like that violent approach. He basically tries to bludgeon you. I mean, he'll hit what he can hit. Arms, gloves, fucking hips, whatever. He'll just try and run you over. High punch output, power, aggression, entertaining style. He's almost like like Margarito in that sense. I like him. I like him a lot, man. I think he's a good fighter. You think Conor Benn is on roids? He got pummeled against a journeyman in 2017, and now he's destroying former title challengers. I mean, I think a lot of these high-profile guys are on something, but I think a lot of that is selective matchmaking as well. Like Chris Algieri is shot to bits. Let's be honest. You know, Samuel Vargas been through the wars, Granados been through the wars, so probably, but who knows? Oh, you think the third fight was the most clear win? Interesting. Lomosovsky, high disturbed reality. Big up to yourself. You'll have to wait, bro, but I will do a prediction video for that fight. But I really like that fight. It makes perfect sense for both fighters right now in their careers. It makes perfect sense. Great fight. Great fight. Yes, Mad Chad, I thought you would like that. That's a good little fight for Gary Cully. Irish lightweight. He's fighting on the Mick Conlan Lee Wood undercard. And Gary Cully's fighting Miguel Vasquez, the veteran. That's good matchmaking. That's good matchmaking. Usyk, yes, sir. To the moon. Exactly, bro. That's me and Mark were having this conversation. I miss that old school kind of boxing content where people would just get on live and talk boxing. You know? I miss that shit. I really do. Because we had some great chats at some points, man. We had some great chats. But you know, after a while, drama comes in and it just kills your mood for it. MMA, I think Brooke and Khan are both washed and are not durable anymore. Well, Khan was never really durable ever, but I think Khan probably still has something left and will outbox and probably stop Brooke late. Yeah, I think a Khan stoppage is very possible. Exactly, yeah. YTBC is 90% drama and 90% drama and fanboying, 10% actual boxing talk. Yep. Yeah, exactly, Felipe. And the fucked up thing is, yeah, with my second channel, I was kind of expecting that community to be toxic as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. And you get some weird questions, don't get me wrong, but it's not really toxic, which is really strange to me. Something about boxing is just brings the worst out in people. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about boxing. Maybe that says something for me as well. Who the fuck knows? I'm getting bored of Tyson Fury, bro. To tell you the truth, I'm totally bored of Tyson Fury until he gets back in the ring. Yeah, Vladimir. I just don't like the narrative that Vladimir wasn't tough. I think that's completely unfair. Completely unfair. I think that's I think that's one of those things that when it gets said enough, it becomes true, kind of thing. Myth, not myth. Daenerys versus Inoue in the works. Who have you got? And do you like this fight? I like the fight, man. First fight was great. But you've got to go with Inoue again. You have to. But if Daenerys pulls that off, man, that's the best win of his career. If he pulls that off, can you imagine? Mr. Howard, good evening, Mr. Dell. I think Khan within 6, but in their primes, I would pick Kell every time. I agree. I totally agree. I would pick Kell in their primes as well. But right now, I am favouring Khan. Are you excited about Eddie's fight schedule for DAZN? It's not great in my opinion. I think it's acceptable. On the DAZN schedule, I think it's acceptable. I like Lee Wood, Michael Conlon. That's a great fight. Estrada Gonzalez, third fight's great. Ryder versus Danny Jacobs is great. Even Akole versus Siaslak is a good title defense. Siaslak is a genuine top 10 cruiserweight. Gave Makabu a really hard fight. Some people felt he won. So Siaslak is a good title defense. So there's some things to look forward to. Rungvisai versus Quadras 2 as well. Yeah, it's solid. It's solid. Yeah, Gary said he's fighting 3 times this year. I will listen. If he fights 3 times this year, I'm a Dutchman. Exactly, man, and it's such a shame as well because I've always rated Gary. I've always rated Gary. Like even in that loss to Lomachenko, he lost clearly, but he took a beating and he took it. Whereas a lot of those guys fucking quit. He took his beating and he took a lot of hard body shots in that fight. Oh, John Ryder's going to comfortably beat Danny Jacobs, in my opinion. I hope he doesn't get robbed so Eddie can do Jacobs Canelo 2 or some shit. I'm not sure about that fight, you know. It depends on what Danny Jacobs shows up. The last 2 or 3 fights from Danny Jacobs, he's not looked great, to be honest. Didn't look good in the Rosado fight or the Chavez fight. So it's hard to know what to expect from Danny Jacobs now. But, you know, John Ryder's not fought anybody of consequence since Callum Smith. So it's a hard fight to call. And why I like that fight, it's basically a loser leaves town fight. It's a crossroads fight. The loser of that fight can't go anywhere. So there's a lot on the line. I like those sort of fights. It's a good fight. Big up to the Londoner in the sticks. Yo, Del, a Saturday night stream after a bit of dinner. You got me out of putting up with my Mrs. Hair and Beauty tutorial YouTube viewing. Perfect. So big up to Londoner in the sticks. Big up to yourself. See, there are some benefits of being a single man. There are some benefits. Yes, the Sky schedule is getting better. It's getting better. What do you think about Ugas versus Spence? Do you think Ugas will upset Spence because of the layoff and eye injury, etc.? I don't think so personally. I think Spence will win regardless, even if Ugas makes it close and arguably wins. Spence is getting the decision. I think Spence would have to be completely shot for Ugas to win that fight, to be honest. I'm intrigued, though. I'm intrigued to see how Spence looks. I think it's the perfect fight for Spence to come back to be honest. I do. I agree, MMA. I think he's very good. Very fun style as well. Yo, that was a beatdown, BG London. When fucking who was it? Terry O'Connor carried he carried cleverly back to his corner. I don't think that's happening now with what's going on with Crawford and Top Rank. I can't see it happening now. And that must make Josh Taylor think now because he's obviously undisputed right now, but he wants to go to welterweight. There's nobody for him at Top Rank. So he's got to be thinking right now, is my future at Top Rank or do I need to up sticks and move? Because he's in a bad position. Once he moves up, he's in a bad position. Josh Taylor. That's one thing about this lawsuit people are not really thinking about. Without Crawford, who can Taylor fight at 147? Yes, big up to Unrivaled for the contribution. Much appreciated. And by the way, I'm sure you guys know who Unrivaled is, but check him out. He does have a channel. He does still occasionally stream when he wants to. But yeah, big up to Unrivaled. Much appreciated, man. Much appreciated. Yep. Zepeda and Sandoval, 2 very under the radar Golden Boy fighters. Yeah, I think Sandoval's is Sandoval Golden Boy? Yeah, I think he is. Actually. Yeah, you're right. I like Sandoval though. I do like Sandoval. Exactly. It's similar to what Smith Vargas was, indeed. Yeah. I like those sort of fights, bro. And big up to Unrivaled again, man. Big up. That would be a great fight. That'd be a great fight. Exactly, man. His chin is gone. His chin is gone. Yeah, Marku's training in the Steel City. Thoughts should have went to Booth or Ingle. It looks like Marku's trying to box now and be more elusive, Volta. So maybe the Ingle style is good for Florian Marku, considering what he's trying to do. But I'd rather see Florian Marku be a boxer puncher, rather than stick and move. Not sure, really. Yeah, it is sad, but you just trying to try to ignore them. What's your thoughts on this whole Crawford suing Bob for racial bias and not making Crawford a pay-per-view star, even though that's not up to him? I mean, I've only really read the headline on when it came out on Boxing Scene. I've read the headline, and that's really it, to be honest. I mean, people are pointing out certain things Arum has said, like that he loses money on Crawford. So he said that I think this was when Crawford was at welterweight, or when he moved to welterweight. He basically said that he's lost money on Crawford's last 3 fights. I've seen a lot of people call that slander. It's not slander if Bob Arum can prove that he lost money on those fights. Is that unprofessional? In my opinion, yes, but that's not exactly, it's not slander or anything like that. I mean, he could never get the Spence fight anyway. I mean, what could have... I don't really understand, to be honest. He was the highest paid welterweight guaranteed payday anyway. In regards to the guaranteed payday, he was the highest paid welterweight. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. But again, I'm not sure what evidence they have. So I'm just going to sit back and see what happens. I don't particularly care for either party. Don't like Bob Arum and Terence Crawford. To me, he's just never really captivated my attention. So honestly, I could really give a fuck what happens between those two. Doesn't really bother me. He is good, Cieslek. He is good. He is good. Who's next for Joe Joyce? I mean, he's WBO number 1. So, and he's with Frank Warren. So, more than likely he'll be mandatory soon. He'll get a mandatory shot. So I think you'll just see Joe Joyce stay busy and fight like fringe contenders. But, he's 35 years old, so he can't just wait around. He needs to fight top guys. I would say Daenerys. I would say Daenerys. Tapia could outwork him, but I think he'll walk onto something. Big up to L-Dog. Salute to L-Dog. OG L-Dog. Oh, yeah. Virgil Ortiz is going to go through Michael McKinson like a doorway. Yeah, that's going to be a good fight, man. I always like to see that as well, when a guy tries to right a wrong. That's always good to see. It's always good to see. I don't think so, man. Maybe for a couple of rounds he might be a bit awkward, but... no, Gary's too small, man. I think Gary's a better fighter than Tank. I think he's more talented, but he's just too small. He's too small. Apparently they're doing a show in March with Dubois. That's what I heard. But who knows? Big Jiho Park, salute Dell. What's a better fight to come back into? Hang on. What's a better fight to come back to in order to be entertained? Kovalev Cleverly or Stevenson Bellew? I would say Stevenson Bellew just because it's Bellew, to be honest. But Kovalev Cleverly was a better performance by Kovalev. But I'd say Stevenson Bellew. It's hard to say because right now the belts are tied up, but when those belts become vacant, I've seen worse fighters win a vacant title than Lerone Richards. I definitely think he'll contend for a title. Whether he wins one, who knows? I get that as well. I get that as well. That's true, actually. I forget about this WBO rule. That is true, yeah. He can move up and force for mandatory. That is true. That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. Yeah, that was how that fight was being sold. That was Nathan Cleverly's coming out party when he fought Kovalev. Kovalev was like the undefeated knockout artist, and Cleverly was supposed to win and then go to America and get big fights with like Bernard Hopkins. It never worked out that way. And that is true as well. Taylor can mandate it, but how long will he have to wait? See, that's what I'm saying, L Dog. Not to age Crawford out, but I'd want to see I'd want to see Taylor have at least one fight at 147 first, like maybe against Josecito Lopez, somebody like that. You know, a guy who's been at that weight for a long while, but who's not quite elite, just to get used to the weight, see how he looks. Big up to Corey Lee, by the way. Big up to Corey Lee. What's up, everyone? Usyk beats Joshua again, and then Fury. Listen, man, I think Usyk's got a great chance in both fights. People are saying Fury's just going to dog walk him and maul him. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. I mean, he struggled to do that against Otto Wallin. Even before that cut, Otto Wallin was having success. He was finding the body quite regularly on Tyson Fury, and he was having success. So Usyk's got a great chance. He could beat Fury, and he can obviously beat Joshua, as we've seen. That's what if I'm a welterweight right now, I'm targeting Errol Spence. I'm targeting Errol Spence. That's why I don't understand why Virgil Ortiz has postponed his eliminator with Avanesian. Because what Frank Warren basically said Ortiz is having a fight in the interim, but the WBC will order that fight, Avanesian versus Ortiz, as an eliminator. I don't get why Ortiz is holding out on that fight. I'd go for that eliminator and go for Spence right away. But yeah, maybe Taylor's got a chance against Spence. Decent fight, yeah. Cody Crowley should get it because he beat Abdu Kakarov, yeah. But you know how these sanctioning bodies work. I agree, yeah. CS will hang around for a few rounds, in my opinion. Okay, so Crawford's lawsuit also mentioned Top Rank allegedly promising a Spence fight in exchange for fighting Kavalauskas a day after Spence wrecked his car. So there is more to his lawsuit, to be fair. That is true, but obviously, once Spence got involved in that car crash, the fight couldn't be made. Then COVID happened. There's a lot of external circumstances surrounding that case from the outside looking in. But honestly, again, I don't particularly care. Really, I'm not that bothered about it. I'll watch it tomorrow, man. I'll catch up tomorrow, but I won't watch it live. I'm going to have an early-ish night. Stephen McKenna's overrated. He blocked me because I said he needs to go and see a dentist. Yeah, I don't get the hype either, to be honest. Yeah, IBF have mandated Hrgovic versus Joyce because Yoka pulled out. Obviously, Joyce won't take that fight. Yeah, I mean, Joyce is number one with a WBO, and more than likely he'll be named Mando. So I can kind of understand that one, but at the same time, you know, the WBO called their Mando after the IBF called their last Mando. So if Joe Joyce wants to get a shot sooner rather than later, the IBF might be a better route. So he should consider that fight when you think about it. But probably won't though. No, since Batsagaziev fought last time out on Christmas Eve, I've not heard much. But he's somebody to look out for. Very dangerous fighter. Gold medalist, obviously, as well. In regards to Yafai, no idea. Stevenson is looking to be fighting Oscar Valdez, but I think Conceição beats Martinez. I've not been impressed with Xavier Martinez. Somebody's shit. It'll be somebody's shit. It'll be some sort of fucking raw fucking beef build up. I'm not sure really. I'm not sure. Can't really think, to be honest, who he could fight. I don't think he will come back. I just don't see who he fights. Yeah, that'll be a shit fight. No interest. I don't think he'll stop Valdez. But I think he'll outbox him. I want to see Stevenson pick up from where he left off against Jamel Herring and be a bit more authoritative with his work. Because he was still boxing Herring, but he was putting more shots together. You know, I want to see that against Valdez. I like this Valdez fight as well because I like how it's kind of set up. It's either going to be the redemption for Valdez or the coronation for Stevenson. You know, it's one of those ones. I like it. It's a good fight. That's true as well, actually. It'd be nice to see Bellew come back just so he gets knocked out. That is true. I don't really recall. I don't really recall, to tell you the truth, Alex. I don't really recall. I'll have to watch it back. Saturday night, 3 a.m., you're drunk. Shannon Courtney invites you in her Uber to her luxury apartment. Do you get in? Absolutely. Absolutely. Why not? She's not my cup of tea, but I mean, I'd be a liar. I'd be lying to you if I said I wouldn't go. And I'm not a liar. So yeah, I'd go. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. I'm genuinely not interested. Not interested. I'm sick of hearing about fucking lawsuits, purse bids, arbitration. I'm sick of hearing Fury's name. I'm sick of hearing Crawford's name. I'm sick of these guys, man. I hear more about these guys outside the ring than I do inside. Sick of it. Not interested. Not interested at all. Yeah, if I was Joyce, I would take the Hrgovic final eliminator. The IBF is next in line, and the WBO are the back of the queue. Joyce don't have time to muck around at his age. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. You know, I understand he's highly ranked in the WBO, number one, but if he wants a shot sooner rather than later, the IBF is the better route to go down. And you know you're going to get your shot as well with the IBF. You know you're going to get your shot regardless. So he might have to consider that. And it'll be a great fight as well. It'll be a great fight. Yeah, I think most of you guys are in agreement. Bellew would love a Jake Paul fight. So would I. Can you give me a couple of good fights to watch to keep me up before this card starts tonight? couple of good fights. I want to think of something outside the box for you, not something obvious like Hagler Hearns. Trying to think something outside the box. I'll tell you what, Costa Zhu versus Vince Phillips. That was a great fucking fight. That's one. That was when Costa Zhu lost for the first time. Who else? Arthur Abraham versus Edison Miranda 1. I would take Valdez. I would take Valdez, maybe even by knockout. I think Agawa is made to order, Jiho. I think Agawa's more stylistically suited to Valdez, more so than Shakur Stevenson. Bellew, listen, man, I don't like Tony Bellew, but he was a good fighter. Colbert UD. Gutierrez can punch, but Colbert's a much better boxer, much more versatile, much more mobile, much quicker. I'm taking Colbert on points. Good fight, though. I agree that stylistically, Valdez is a lot. It's a good style for Stevenson, but Valdez can crack, and he is experienced. So I think it'll be harder than the Herring fight. I do. I think it'll be harder than Herring. if Bellew was half as good at fighting as he was running his mouth, he'd have been unstoppable. Depends what weight class, AJ Morningstar. Depends what weight class. Ebony Bridges is putting it on you. Would you go rounds, not just in the ring? I'd give it a go. Why not? I'd like to see Briedis versus Bellew as a final eliminator to get a shot at Jake Paul. I'm all for it. Let's get it. I would say Ebony Bridges. If I had to spend the night sober with either, I'd go Ebony Bridges. But I do believe, I think Shannon Courtney she'd be a better lay, because she was a fat girl once and she had to try very hard, right? So that's still going to be in her arsenal, right? Ebony Bridges, in my humble opinion, probably wouldn't be as... I don't know. She's not going to put in that work, I don't think. So Shannon could be a better shag. Oh, Ryan Martin. I've not heard that name for quite some time, Stefan. He got stopped. I never even knew he was fighting, and I don't know the guy who he was fighting. Let me go on BoxRec. I remember Josh Taylor fucking him up. And then he lost to Robert Easter. Yep, lawsuits and embarrassing tattoos are the new final eliminators in modern boxing. Yep, that's what it feels like. Yes, Lebedev versus Jones 2013. Brutal war. Yeah, I'm jumping off the Briedis train right now, man. Been a fun run. Very good fighter, but he's embarrassing himself. Yeah, that's a good shout, actually. The first Matthias and Ian fight would make sense, because it was a really good fight as well. Tony Girov, great fight. It's such a shame, Big Boys Boxing. Would have been a great fight. Obviously, a rematch as well of their Olympic bout. That's such a shame. I was so excited when I saw that news that those two guys could fight. But there you go. Archie Moore versus Yvonne Durrell 1. So Celtic Crusader is coming in with the old school fights. I'd say Bin Laden is far more elusive. To be fair, can't hit what you can't see. Bin Laden, UD. That's what I would say. No, 4 out of 10 is harsh. 4 out of 10 is harsh. I would give her a good solid 7. I'd give her a solid 7. I agree, Joe Mama. I agree. I would say Cordina. Honestly, right now, probably Kamil Sakalowski. It's not surprising you'd go with Ebony. She's chucked on some timber recently. More cushion for the pushing. Yeah, I just fucking I can't stop putting my foot in it when it comes to this fucking fat girl meme. Damn, so you're a welterweight, but you've gained weight to 87 kilograms. Now you have to cut 10 kilograms for my next fight. Damn. Yeah, when I was gonna have an amateur fight, I was welterweight, and I was 6'1", and now, obviously, I'm still 6'1", maybe 6'1 and a half, something like that, and I'm 170 pounds. So like I could get down to middleweight. I'm like a Charlo type of guy, you know. I'm like a Charlo / Andrade type of build, I guess I would say. A relatively tall middleweight. At middleweight, I'd take Golovkin at middleweight. I'd take Golovkin at middleweight. I think Hearns obviously would be dangerous early on. Hearns might actually win the first couple of rounds with that piston jab and those quick feet. But I think Golovkin gets to him. I really do. I know that's going to be sacrilege to some people, but I mean, Iran Barkley knocked out Tommy Hearns twice, and Barkley was a good fighter. But let's be honest, he's no Golovkin. He's not Golovkin. I think a prime Golovkin beats a 160 Tommy Hearns. Shannon Courtney for Mr. Howard. Another great Showtime card, Roger Gutierrez versus Chris Colbert, Gary Antoine Russell versus Victor Postal, and Joan Ancajas versus Fernando Martinez. Are you serious? Gary Antoine Russell versus Victor Postal? That's a good fucking fight. That's a hell of a test as well. That's a good fight. Because I really like Gary Antoine Russell. I think he's very good. He looks very good. Very good boxer puncher. Nice style to watch. Southpaw, quick. That's a great fight. I'm down for that shit. I'll tell you what. Showtime in the last 12 months, like the regular Showtime cards, they have been pretty good, to be honest. That's a good fucking fight. Victor Postal, Gary Antoine Russell, is that official? That's a good fight. Yeah, I see Dan Raphael's just tweeted about it. That's a good card as well, man. I mean, Colbert versus Gutierrez is a good fight as well. Damn, that's a good fight. You've got me excited there, Felipe. That's a good fucking fight. I'm excited by that. Rodriguez Jr. versus Takayama was a fight I rewatched the other day. What a fight. Takayama was always good fun, man. Yeah, exactly. Too long. Too elusive. Oh, yeah, Lebedev was a good cruiserweight champion. Honestly, I think obviously not again. I mean, if I look at the division right now, I don't think he beats Okole or Briedis, but he can beat everybody else. Big up to John Gonzalez. Antoine Russell versus Victor Postal. damn good step up. I agree, man. That's a good fight. I'd give Ebony Bridges 7 out of 10 inches. I mean, I'd give her a go. I would take Fundora. I think Lubin's more talented, but Fundora's so much bigger, and Lubin doesn't have a chin. Christ. I think it'll be a competitive, quick fight, if that makes sense. I think Kearns he'll be throwing back, and he'll make it fun to watch. But I think Golovkin will get to him. I really do. Honestly, this is how I want it to work out. I want Usyk to beat fucking Joshua, and I want Usyk to beat Fury. That's what I want to happen. I'd love to see both guys lose, to tell you the truth. I'm sick of Tyson Fury. I'm sick of Anthony Joshua. Just sick of them. Again, it's that chin for Julian Jackson. It's that chin. He's got the power to match Golovkin, but he doesn't take the shots as well. Yeah, exactly. Yes, madness. Josh Taylor's run since O'Hara Davis has been absolutely incredible. How do you see Madrimov? Big up to BDA, by the way. Great channel. Best boxing podcast on YouTube. How far do you see Madrimov going at 154? I felt he showed signs of improvements against Michel Soro, although the stoppage was garbage, but he was far more... The thing with Madrimov, to me, he's extremely athletically gifted, but he's one of those guys who tries to do a bit too much in there. There's a lot of wasted movement in many of his fights. But against Soro, he was much more circumspect, and he was picking his moments a lot better and boxing well behind that jab. I think he's got a lot of attributes to go. I think he's got a lot of good attributes that could see him becoming a world champion. Particularly after Castano Charlo, because I'm assuming that the winner, particularly if it's Charlo, will vacate and move up. So I could see Madrimov picking up a vacant title. Do I think Madrimov beats Charlo or Castano? No, but he could pick up a vacant title. He's that sort of fighter. Could be a world champion, but not like a unified or a top fighter kind of thing. Oh, come on. You're fucking cruel. Golovkin will never be appreciated. People will never realize the level of a man. He's been portrayed as just some monstrous puncher. I'll never know, even by pundits. Madness, yeah. I agree. You know, I mean, technically Golovkin is as sound as anybody. Obviously, it all comes off that jab. His jab is one of the best in boxing. And it's quite varied as well, Golovkin's jab. It's not just a shotgun power jab. He varies that jab quite nicely, but how he cuts the ring off, how he shifts as he's throwing punches. Shifting's an extremely hard technique to master. I couldn't do it in the gym. Golovkin's a very good fighter, man. Very good fighter. No doubt about it. UK, I'm UK, from the UK, kind of near London is the best way to describe it. Yeah, I think Subriel Matias, his best options are with Top Rank. However, if Gary Antoine Russell can come through Victor Postal, I'd love to see Matias versus Gary Antoine Russell. That'll be a great fight. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Would I say I think O'Hara's a bigger puncher, but Marku's a bigger guy? Not sure about that one. Yeah, exactly. He'll make it very competitive until he gets knocked out, in my opinion. That's the thing, though. That's the risk you take when you chase a certain fight or a certain fighter. If you get fixated on one fight, usually you don't really do anything in your other fights. You're fighting subpar competition and waiting for that opportunity. We've seen that with Kell Brook, and he's basically wasted his career chasing Khan around. But it's one of those things, man. It's one of those things. Fucking hell. Yeah, I agree. Big boys boxing. I agree. Honestly, I don't particularly dislike Anthony Joshua. To be honest with you, it's more so his fans that irritate me. I don't particularly dislike Joshua, but it's just his fans. I don't like Tyson Fury. I don't like his fans, and I don't like him. But there you go. Now that's a fight. That's a much harder fight than Tommy Hearns. That's a fight. Because G-Man was a damn good fighter. How he took apart Julian Jackson. Savage puncher, man. He's got that skinny boy power, like me. That's a damn good fight. I don't know. Not sure about that one. That would be a great fight. Mike McCallum versus Golovkin would actually be a great fight. Mike was better than all of the four kings, in my opinion. Yeah, Mike McCallum was extremely underrated. He was as durable as anybody. Excellent body puncher, technically sound. One of those guys, you look at his style, he never done anything super flashy or anything like that, but he had a good base of fundamentals, done everything correctly. Tremendous fighter. Him versus Golovkin would be a great fight. My dead nan with a good jab could beat Campbell Hatton. Yeah, that's bullshit. Golovkin constantly moves his head off center line. He moves his head off center line quite a lot in his fights. He does when he fights lesser guys. He doesn't. He does sometimes. I'll be honest. He does sometimes go gung ho, and he doesn't pay as much attention to defense. But usually, he does a pretty good job of moving his head. Not to a crazy degree, but like he'll keep his head off center line. He'll come at different levels. He'll maintain a pretty good guard as well. Occupy your lead hand. No problem, Marianne. No problem. Yeah, that's a thing. Like people were also ducking him. Like you say, Billy Joe Saunders admitted he wasn't ready for him. Canelo gave up her belt rather than facing him. Cotter didn't want it, etc. What else could he do? That is true. That is true. To be fair, like even before that, guys like Felix Sturm, Hassan and Darren Barker, all of these guys avoided him. Peter Quillin was another one. Sergio Martinez. You are right, man. You are right. Maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe I'm being harsh. I mean, like even 168, like Ward was out of action. There wasn't really much at 168 either, to be honest. The only thing I would have liked to have seen him done when James DeGale became the IBF champion. I wouldn't have minded seeing that fight at 168. Because I think James DeGale would have taken it. So you can call James DeGale a lot of things, but he wasn't a ducker. Maybe I don't know. Maybe his team needed to get a bit more creative with his predicament at that time. I'm not sure, but you're right. He was ducked by a lot of guys. You know what's funny? If you look up Fury's highlights in the Klitschko fight, most of them are rabbit punches, shots with the backhand, and shots behind the back on the break. Yeah, it was a messy fight, man. But again, we saw that with Mayweather and even Pacquiao to a lesser degree. A lot of these guys just wait around hoping for phone calls, and in the meantime, they're not going to risk their O or their title. We've seen that before. It's not strictly a Canelo thing. It just happens when there's a big guy, a big money guy in a division, which is a shame. I mean, it is concerning. Thing is with Joshua, for me, he strikes me. We're all different. I'm a big believer in my intuition. It very rarely fails me. But to me, Joshua doesn't. It's like he doesn't believe in his own intuition. Like he always has to have a second opinion on what he should do to get out of, to win a certain fight, whatever. I mean, look at the Usyk fight. After that fight, I prepared for this fight in a certain way as instructed by my team, and I carried out that game plan as instructed by my team. But after a while, after 4 or 5 rounds, surely you think to yourself, well, my team's told me this, but it's not working. I need to rip the script up and do something different. But he doesn't strike me as that sort of guy. It's like Joshua's scared to go all in. Sometimes in life, I've been in this situation where you're scared to commit fully because of fear of failure or fear of coming up short and embarrassing yourself. I think maybe that's what Joshua's mindset's at. Where his mindset's at, sorry. He seems to be very concerned with what others think about him, his image, what people are saying about him, kind of thing. I don't know. It's hard to get a read on Joshua. Oh, I would take Thomas Adamek, to be honest. Prime for prime. I would take Thomas Adamek. Good fight though. Yeah, I'll take Adamek as well. Julian Jackson is up there. He's up there. One hitter quitter. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, exactly, yeah. De Gale never ducked anybody. He was an arsehole, but a warrior, yeah. And he took his beatings, man. He took his beatings as well. He took his beatings. Like, his body just failed him. The injuries, I think he had bad groin injuries and shoulder injuries, I believe. Something like that. But, yeah, James DeGale was one of those guys who I disliked when he started, but I grew to appreciate him as his career went on. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that, actually. Yeah, Brooke did destroy his own career. Matthias by late stoppage. Matthias late stoppage. Joe, who's winning? Eubank versus Williams. Eubank, I would say. Eubank late stoppage. I'll be interested to see how Williams fights though under Adam Booth, because when you look at Liam Williams, he's got the reputation of being a just a come forward swarmer. But if you watch his earlier fights, he was more of an aggressive boxer puncher. Go back and watch that first Liam Smith fight. He was actually boxing quite nicely. So I wonder if he's gonna box a bit more in this fight behind that jab, because Liam does have a good jab when he uses it, but in recent fights he's not really. He seems to have drifted from his boxing. I mean, go back and watch the Mark Heffron fight. He boxed really well in that fight. Liam Williams can box a bit. So I wonder if he's going to revert to that against Eubank, knowing what we know about Eubank. I've got a feeling as well about a stoppage in that rematch. I think somebody's going to get stopped. I think somebody's going to get stopped. And I'm not ruling out Joshua. A lot of people are saying it's a foregone conclusion. Listen, Joshua is a flawed fighter, but at the same time, he's not the guy a lot of people portray him as a complete hype job who frauded his way to the top. He is a good fighter. He's a very good heavyweight, Joshua. He does have his vulnerabilities, obviously, but he's a dangerous guy for anybody. He just needs to find himself again, I guess. For me, Anthony Joshua was at his best. I would describe him as a risk-taking boxer puncher, an aggressive risk-taking boxer puncher. That's what I would describe Joshua as at his best. Yeah, Florian does speak good English. He does. Wybe's doing his thing. He's having fun. Yeah, the only way I could call it a masterclass is in regards to like the psychological side. That's the only. But in regards to the actual technical side of things, no, it wasn't a masterclass. Oh, Carlos de Leon versus Johnny Nelson, worst fight in history. Yeah, awful fight. Awful fight. Hang on, let me just. I've got to fucking send a text. I think. Fuck's sake. One second. Yeah, maybe you're right, Nordic, but I don't honestly. I don't think he's right. I don't think he's been right since Ruiz. To be honest, I saw that in the Ruiz rematch and against Pulev, and I said that after the Pulev fight, and I got a lot of fucking stick. To me, he just looks very far too worried about what's coming back, and I get that, but I don't know. It always looks like he's second guessing himself, Joshua. Yeah, same here. I couldn't stand DeGale, but I found him entertaining and he gave us some good fights. I find it pathetic that people called Froch a warrior while they ridiculed DeGale, who he ducked. Yeah, that's true. I mean, DeGale was his IBF Mando, and that fight was in talks as well, but eventually Cole Froch retired. Yeah, that would have been a good fight at the time as well, because James DeGale just signed with Matchroom at that time and he was looking very good. He was looking very good at that point in time because he beat Brandon Gonzalez, who was unbeaten, and he looked great. He beat Paraban, and yeah, De Gea at that point in time was looking really good. I still think Froch would have beat him late on, maybe, but it would have been a very good fight. Yeah, AJ's been scared to commit fully ever since Ruiz took apart his soul at MSG. Ever since that point, he's turned into a chronic overthinker and amateur philosophy student, and the essence of dog is gone. That's how it appears. Yeah, that's how I feel, Nordic, in regards to the second fight. Spence has brain damage. He's finished. Well, apparently, what I've been hearing about Errol Spence is he's half checked out of boxing. Apparently, he's enjoying that ranch life in Texas. He's got like a big ranch with fucking chickens, horses. He goes out, goes out and fucking shoots coyotes and shit. That sounds like a good life. I don't blame him if he's not feeling boxing. I don't blame him because he's a country boy, Errol Spence, from what I understand. I tried to watch De Leon versus Nelson, made it for about 2 rounds. Not sure, BG London. If he loses again, I don't think he should retire. There are still some great fights out there for him. Like, let's say, for example, Fury fights White and beats White. I would still watch White versus Joshua too. I'd love to see Joshua Wilder. Even if Joshua loses to Usyk again, he can still get his way back in the heavyweight picture. It's not the end of the world like people are making it out to be. If it does happen, it's not the end of the world. He could easily come back and fight for another title. I would advise he carries on if he loses again. He can still he can still beat some very good fighters and make a lot of money. Yeah, I mean, if Conor Benn fights Maurice Hooker, I'll accept that. It's a good fight. I'm not asking. I'm not asking the world from Conor Benn. I'm not. All I'm saying is just I'm sick of these old shot guys coming over. You know, there's a point in time when you do fight those guys, but I think now's the time for Conor to step up, and I think Maurice Hooker would be a step up. So I would accept that. That's fine by me. I'd be excited for it. It's a good fight. Not asking the world. I'm not asking for the world with Conor Benn. That's true as well. Yeah, he doesn't need the money. I'm good, boxing source, man. I'm good. I'll watch it tomorrow, but I won't watch it live. I'll probably have an earlier night tonight, I'll be honest. I agree. When Spence come over and smashed up Kell Brook, I know Kell Brook probably wasn't optimum and at his best, but it wasn't a completely shot Brook either. Yeah, I felt the world was his oyster, and I was picking him to beat Crawford for a long time, but since his career's gone off the rails, I'd probably pick Crawford, to be honest. I'd probably pick Crawford because I like Spence's style. I know sometimes he'll tend to low blow, but he's technically pretty sound, nice guard, good punch technique, you know, does all of the basics pretty well, and he's a strong kid as well. And I like this style, Spence. And he's still my favourite welterweight, to be honest. Maybe Virgil Ortiz now, but yeah, we was talking about this MMA. Great fight. Gary Antoine Russell versus Victor Postol. Great step up. I'm super excited by that fight, bro. I'll probably do a prediction for that fight. I like it that much. Excellent fight. He has. I mean, I think he'll try and be aggressive. I think he will. I think he'll try and be aggressive. I hope he rolls for rolls the dice. I think he rolls the dice. That Texas ranch life's amazing. Only had brushes with it, but it's definitely a good life goal. I'd love it, bro. Away from people, you know, just a nice ranch. I wouldn't have horses, but I'd have some livestock, you know. Grow a few crops. Get strapped up. Living the life, man. That'd be great. That'd be fucking great. Maybe. I kind of want to see Joshua go full heel mode and just be a prick. That's what I want to see. Just go full roadman. You're right, yeah. I mean, should he really be alive after crashing a supercar? He got very lucky. He got very lucky. And I know since then he's been seen drunk a couple of times, but it seems to have calmed down a bit, which is good. It seems to have calmed down a bit, so hopefully he's got his shit sorted. Because I think he's likable outside the ring. I'm not sure. You just can't count on anything with Tyson Fury. I mean, I don't get why he. Listen, I understand what the holdup is when there's legal proceedings. I get it, but I wish we just got that fight now and get it out of the way. Yeah, exactly. I agree, Ari. If Joshua loses to Usyk, losing to one guy who has a unique set of skills doesn't mean AJ can't beat other elite heavyweights. People say styles make fights, but most don't believe it and overreact. I agree, Chris. I totally agree. And there's numerous other heavyweights out there who Joshua could fight. for big money, and they would also improve his legacy. If Joshua loses to Usyk and then he fights Wilder, for example, that's going to generate so much fucking interest. It's still a massive pay-per-view fight, and whoever wins that fight, it's great on the resume. There's still fights out there for Joshua if he loses again, and he could easily come back and get another title shot. He's only 32 years old. You know, if he wanted to, he could easily have another 4, 5, 6 years in the game, providing he stays healthy, injury free. Absolutely, I agree. I wouldn't want him to retire if he loses again. Oh God, yeah, maybe. And I know Francis Ngannou is having disputes with the UFC. Usyk Joyce, another fight I'd love to see. Great fight. Great fight. Yeah, I think Crawford beats him as well now. I like Spence. I don't know why. I just find him funny outside the ring. I just find him kind of funny. People say he's boring, but I kind of like his demeanor. And I like his style in the ring as well. I do like his style. I just don't like how his career's turned out in the last few years. Basically, ever since that Kell Brook fight, you know. Barring Sean Porter, of course. That was a great fight. Yeah, still waiting for AJ Miller. Gloves are off. What about that fight? I mean, Miller's coming back. Jarrell Miller's coming back. He served his ban now, and he wants to come back. Somebody will give him a shot. He'll get a few fights. Don't be surprised if you see that guy ranked again. AJ versus Miller. Exactly, bro. It's not like Joshua. If he loses to Usyk, yeah, it's going to do a bit of damage to his drawing power, but he's still a huge name. And he'll still be one of the biggest earners in boxing, regardless if he loses. And not only like a Wilder fight, but you'd like to see Joshua take on one of these up-and-comers like Yoka or Hrgovic. Not just Joshua either. I want to see all of these guys fight each other. But we're just talking about Joshua now. There's a lot of good fights out there for him, regardless. And to be fair to Joshua, I think he'll take them. He's not really dodged and ducked people. To be honest, I don't hold it against Joshua that the Fury fight never happened. It wasn't his fault. The problem with Joshua, when you talk about Joshua, it's either one thing or the other. He's got his sycophants, who, if you don't praise him every second of the day, you're some sort of hater. But on the flip side, you've got the people who give this guy no credit whatsoever and say he's a complete bum and a no-hoper. But there you go. That's my feelings on Joshua. I hope not, man. If Fury fights Ngannou, man, he gets roasted. Yeah, that never really made me change my mind. It's more so how he's lived his life outside the ring in regards to Errol Spence. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's got that kind of like, it's like a slurred sort of Texan accent. I find it funny. Christ. I've seen Miller doing security in Ukraine or Poland at a boxing card a few weeks ago. Are you being serious? Yeah, that's one thing about Crawford's performance against Porter that did impress me. Like the strength he showed against Porter was very impressive. Very impressive. People get like hooked on the knockout in that fight, but that was what impressed me the most, was Crawford's physical strength against Porter. Yeah, spot on the way AJ has covered. Fans are so polarized. People overreact with praise and criticism. This happens quite often with other fights too. Let's be honest. Most boxing fans are nuts, laugh out loud. I agree, man. I agree. I'm sure you've had it as well, bro. You always get some sort of accusations that you're a fanboy or a hater, etc., etc. You get it all the time, bro. Because I can't argue with Joshua's career so far, really. Obviously, we would have liked to have seen him fight Fury and Wilder, but what he has given us, it's been pretty entertaining. Which really is what it's all about, I guess, right? Miller's helping the Albanian with the cracks. No, seriously, he was doing security at a boxing event in Eastern Europe. I can't remember the card, but it was low key. Damn. You got to earn your money. You got to earn your money. Yeah, exactly, man. It's been fun. It's been fun. It's not been perfect. It's not been perfect. There are fights we wanted to see, but it's been pretty fun. I've got Russell on points, but the ingredients are there for an upset. Russell, didn't make weight first time around. He's saying he's got an injury going into this fight. His dad's not training him. His dad's had a lot of health scares. So the ingredients are there for a potential upset. Magsayo is a bigger guy who can punch. Not as skilled as Gary, nowhere close, but he's an aggressive dude who comes forwards, throws a fair few punches, and if Gary's not at the races, I don't know. Don't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if Mark Magsayo lands a shot and does something, but I think you've got to go with Gary still. Again, for me, in talking about wasted talent, I think Gary's one of the biggest wastes of talent, particularly in American boxing. Yeah, you're not allowed to criticize Joshua because of his resume. Yeah. That's it. I've been called a Joshua hater, a Joshua fanboy. It is what it is. I never talk about Joshua on this channel, really. Yeah, part of me, listen, I think if it's for Fury from the Wilder third fight, I think Usyk has a very good chance of beating him. A very good chance of beating him. The Fury from the second Wilder fight, I'm not sure. He would have had a better chance, but I think Kell Brook would always struggle with that sort of style. One thing Errol Spence was doing well in that fight. I know he was getting outboxed early on, but he did a very good job of disrupting Kell Brook's lead hand with his own. His lead hand control in that fight was good. And after the sixth round, obviously he applied that pressure, got closer, got those body shots in, and worn out Kell Brook. I think it would have always been a hard fight for Kell Brook, to be honest. But yeah, he would have definitely had a better chance. Yeah, that's my only problem. That's really been my gripe with Joshua in the last 12 months, maybe, I guess. It's just that whole rematch clause thing. I don't like rematch clauses being in mandatory fights. I've always had a problem with that. Not just Joshua, but that's always kind of rubbed me up the wrong way. I understand in the Ruiz fight, totally acceptable. I get it. Voluntary defense, last minute, I get it. Fair enough. But like when it's a mandatory, that's when I don't like rematch clauses. I think the sanctioning bodies should come together and say, under no circumstances, no rematch clauses in mandatory fights. something along those lines. And if a fight is controversial enough, then the sanctioning body could order it again. But at the same time, that's not perfect, because the sanctioning bodies, they're not necessarily going to do that if it rules against one of their sort of cash cows. It's one of those things. Usyk clarks everyone, not rocket science. He's a snappy puncher. He's not like a one hitter quitter, but he's a snappy puncher, and he can hurt you. That Lomachenko loss really affected Russell Jr. psychologically, I believe. Fastest hands in the sport, highly skilled, and still got outboxed. That messed with his mind, in my honest opinion. I agree. I definitely agree. And you still hear Gary talk about that fight now, and he's still not really come to the realization of what happened in that fight. That's what it seems like anyway. But like you say, I think the guy's got all of the attributes: the hand speed, the amateur background, the boxing ability, respectable power. Even he's got a good style to watch as well. And in recent years, I would have picked Gary to beat most of the guys around him. Guys like Leo Santa Cruz, Josh Warrington. I would take Gary Russell in all of those fights quite confidently. But now, as the years go on, as he's more inactive, not so sure now. He's certainly been a waste of talent. Certainly. Yeah, I think it's ridiculous as well. It's not going to be a destruction either way. I can't see it personally. Yeah, I think that was one of Lomachenko's best performances as well. I agree. I would say on the lower level, I really enjoyed his performance against Jason Sosa and Roman Martinez. But yeah, at a higher level, I would say the Russell fight is his best. I've got Khan. 149 rehydration clause. I think if Khan jumps on him early, he can overwhelm Brook and get him out of there. I really do. Kell's punch resistance is completely gone at this point, and I know Khan doesn't have a chin either, but Khan's got the speed to get there first and try to overwhelm him early on. I don't know. I think I'm feeling Khan in that fight. Yeah, working out Joshua's interviews is like depicting the Eric Cantona's Seagulls poem. Deciphering Eric Cantona's Seagulls poem, yeah. What was it when the seagulls follow the trawler? Eric Cantona, man. I'll tell you, we could do with an Eric Cantona right now at United. Although we won today, 93rd minute winner, so I'll take that. Nah, don't be silly, man. Don't be silly. He was going to come back at one point in time, G-Man. This was a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and that fight got cancelled, and we've never heard from him since. Yeah, it's a joke, isn't it? Yeah, that loss destroyed Gary Russell Jr. completely. Even now, he still talks about how Lomachenko couldn't knock him out. Like that's his biggest, that's his moral victory from that fight. Now he just hibernates between fights. Yeah, exactly. And like I say, it's a shame. It's a shame considering how talented he is. Like I don't really feel the same way about Nicholas Walters, who vanished. Nicholas Walters was a very good fighter, but not as naturally gifted as Gary Russell. Not as naturally gifted as Gary Russell. And I just feel he should have done a lot more. Should have done a lot more. A lot of people back then were picking Nicholas Walters to beat Lomachenko. I'll be honest, I never expected it to go the way it did, but I had Lomachenko on points. I remember picking Lomachenko on points in that fight. I didn't think he would stop Walters or make him quit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Leo Santa Cruz his career has been trash since the second Frampton fight. The greatest Scottish heavyweight of all time. You've got a couple now. Well, you got one now. What's his name? Is it Nick Campbell? Yeah. Cornish had a worse chin than David Price. Nicky Campbell versus Gary Cornish, the next King of Scotland. Yeah, Nick Campbell's fighting soon. I forget which card. He's fighting it on a card coming up. Might be on the Josh Taylor undercard. Anybody else agree? I think Jack Catterall is going to give Josh Taylor a lot more trouble than people are expecting. I'm not saying he's winning. I'm picking Josh Taylor, but I think Catterall is going to give him a lot more problems than people expect. I've just got a feeling. Catterall is he's pretty technically sound. He's a southpaw as well, so he mirrors Josh Taylor. Nice straight left hand. He's quite economical with his work. He's a pretty nifty counterpuncher, Jack Catterall, and he carries okay-ish power. I don't know. I think he might mess Josh Taylor around for a few rounds. I don't think he's a bad fighter, Jack Catterall. And you have to think, there was a reason why Floyd Mayweather and Canelo used this guy as a sparring partner. There's something there with Jack Catterall. There's something there. When I first watched this guy fight, it was years ago on Frank Warren undercards. And I see the guy fight, and he was just one of those guys who struck me as somebody who would show another level when the time would come. You know, he kind of drifted through a lot of fights. Never really stepped out of his comfort zone, but I've just got a feeling he's gonna give he's gonna give Taylor some trouble. He's not great, G-Man. He's not great. Yeah, Alex Arthur was a good fighter. Very good fighter at domestic level. Very, very, very fun fighter to watch. I say he was European level at his best. Yeah, that's a sad story. Scott Harrison at one point was big name in British boxing. Fun style as well. Fun style. But, you know, the drugs, got in a lot of trouble. Cut short his career, sorry. That's what I see. I get you, man. I do get you. He has been a bit willing to sit on the sidelines waiting. I do get you. The inactivity does worry me, but I've always seen something in Jack Catterall. I think he's got talent. But is he just one of those gym fighters? I don't know. Yeah. Who was the guy he had a war with? Was it Michael Gomez? Yeah, Michael Gomez. Yeah, got knocked out by Gomez. Yeah. I think Oscar Rivas flattens. I don't know about flattens, but I think he'll knock out Alan Babbage. Oscar Rivas. Rivas is a good fighter. To be fair, listen, I'm not convinced that Ben Davison is the right guy for Josh Taylor per se, but I do think people get a little over the top on the Ben Davison criticism. I do think people go a little over the top. I think he's a good young trainer. I don't like him. I don't like how he does like the limelight a bit too much, but I think he's a good young trainer. And I agreed with what he said about British trainers. You know, basically insinuating that a lot of these guys are stuck in their ways, they're lazy. I kind of agree. Jesus. Yeah, Derek, somebody, yeah, listen, I don't think that story ends well, that Derek Chisora story. I really don't. I'm talking about like down the line. Frankie Gomez. Yeah, he was with Freddie Roach. Extremely talented fighter. Always had trouble with his weight, but he was extremely talented, ridiculously talented. But apparently, he fell in with the wrong crowd on the streets and whatnot, and yeah, he basically vanished. Apparently, but yeah, Frankie Gomez was a really good talent. XMB 45. Like that was when Herrera was still relevant as well. That was just I think that was just after Herrera, let's be honest, beat Danny Garcia. And Gomez just fucking schooled him, won every round. Very good boxer, Frankie Gomez. Never had the discipline though. Steve Foster Jr. I remember him on the old Sky Friday Night Fights. I remember Steve Foster. That's the problem Hearn is having. These fun fighters, most fighters he signs make money but are never going to do anything. He's right about British boxing trainers. Joe Gallagher, every fighter, same thing. Yeah. Listen, I think some of us have been quick to jump the gun on Ben Davison. He is still very young. He is still very young. And to be fair, he has done a very good job with Lee Wood. And I think he's done a pretty good job with Lee McGregor. So maybe I was guilty of letting my my gripes with Ben Davison get in the way of him as a trainer. He could be a good trainer. He could be a good trainer. Time will tell, ultimately. Time will tell. Yeah, he's out of prison now. I think he's out of prison. He got sent down for being involved in like some fucking mafia racket. Like working for like the Russian mafia or something along those lines. And yeah, I think he's coming out. I think he's coming out soon. I'm sure I read something that he's coming out. Fair play to him, man. Yeah, racketeering. Yeah, that's it. Racketeering. Don't get me wrong. I think Ben is actually great for somebody like Haney, but not Taylor. Taylor's strengths lie in his vindictiveness. He did well in the Ramirez fight till the end. Yeah, I get that. I get that. But sometimes, trainers evolve as well as fighters. Maybe Ben Davison's style of or his philosophy evolves as his career goes on. Like a sign of a good trainer for me is like he can work with a multitude of different styles. Not even necessarily like he can work with any styles and still add something. You know, that to me is like the sign of a good trainer. Like he could work with an outboxer and add something, or he could work with a pressure fighter and add something. But there's not many versatile trainers now. I don't think there's many versatile trainers. That's a fucking question, isn't it? Jesus. Yeah, he was gonna. That was it. Yeah, Kurt Sidsey was gonna fight Billy Joe Saunders. Yeah, that would have been an interesting fight, particularly that version of Billy Joe Saunders who wasn't really taking it seriously. No, I get what you're saying, LR. I get what you're saying. Ben does like the sound of his own voice a bit too much for my liking, and I think he does like the limelight a bit too much, which could be a detriment. But I do listen to the guy in certain interviews and the way he breaks down boxing. I think he is analytical, and I think he knows the sport, obviously. But we'll see where he goes. We'll see where he goes. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. Been a good one. Hopefully, you enjoyed the fights tonight. And yeah, man, I'll try and stream a bit more regularly. I'll try and get one a week, maybe. I'll try and commit to that. We'll see. But yeah, have a good rest of your weekend, guys. Stay safe. Been a good week in the UK in regards to news. So yeah, man. Bless out. Peace.